Yo, what's up guys, in this video I went to the Goblin caves with absolutely no gear, just the starter stuff to see if we could scale up and get something better. So we started off in a pretty big room here on the far eastern side. I believe this is the spider cave, if I am not mistaken, at the top right of the map. It's always a good thing if you come in with absolutely no gear or just the starting gear, you take your time, you just isolate enemies one by one. Obviously I aggro to here, which isn't too good. But you just want to be taking your time for the most part. I'm going to start with a bit of PvE and get some equipment if you can. If I'm coming in with just the starting stuff, it's very important to hit barrels whenever you find them, because there's a very good chance you get some nice clothing or armor upgrades from them. And obviously loot all the chests that you come across too. Yeah, pretty much cleared about half of this room now, so get ourselves some nice boots. Lightfoot boots are my new favourite boots over plate boots now, because they give you a good bonus to move speed. And in my opinion, move speed is just the best stat in the game. Being able to duck and weave, dodge, and just disengage, engage in combat as you please is pretty much the biggest buff you can have in the game. If you ever have to run away, you want to make sure you have move speed when you do. Otherwise that pesky rogue is going to just be running up behind you, shivving you with his dagger constantly. And here we come into what I like to say is the best room in the Goblin Caves. And we find ourselves our first adversary. He does not seem too interested in fighting. He probably should have engaged me a bit sooner, but since he hesitated and tried to run, we actually catch up with him and managed to take him out pretty quickly. I do hear a barbarian in the distance, which is a little terrifying, but we're doing pretty good so far. So yeah, we actually didn't start in the spider caves. We started just to the east of this double level room, which is the best room for loot. However, hearing this guy second winding, we run in there and quickly dispatch of him too. I assumed that he just got in a fight with someone since he was second winding. Looked like he was just fighting goblins and had a bit of trouble with them. Poor guy didn't even react when I opened the door and ran in. So again, I'm guessing he's probably pretty new. I felt pretty bad for that kill. Yeah, looks like he was just fighting goblins, having a bit of trouble. Get ourselves a bow pretty early. That is pretty much ideal for fighter runs in my opinion. Whenever I play fighter, it is always a great idea, and what I always do is get a bow as early as I can, as it allows you to do this, just engage from distance, take a few pot shots before you actually engage in close quarters fighting, and obviously in PvE as well. It gives you a nice little advantage over those archers. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, these beetles are so good to take out because they have a great chance of dropping pendants and rings, pretty much of any rarity. So this time we just get a trinket, but those rings and those pendants are always worth looking for. But yeah, the reason this room is so good is because this chest is, I think it is always unlocked, which is yeah, I mean it's a free big chest, so if you can get here first, it's always a good idea. As you can see there, we found some purple gauntlets, or they were blue gauntlets I believe. But yeah, very nice. There's also some loose loot that you can find clothing items on that little bench that I just looted there. There's quite a lot of loose trinkets that lie around the chests and on the wood. And obviously you've got a nice stockpile of barrels over here, if you want to take the time to smash them and try and get some clothing upgrades. Which I do in this run. Does take a bit of time if you're not a barbarian, but it is worth it. Fortunately we don't get anything from that second one. And it looks like the map is about half closed off now. Circle's halfway through obliterating the map. Let's head a bit further inside. Always like to try and stay center if I can. If I'm solo in the Goblin caves, staying center is normally a pretty good idea. Whereas if you're playing alone in the main castle, you're playing 1v3, sometimes playing on the edge can be a little better, so you can kind of kite around squads, let them fight and engage as a third party. We get a nice upgrade to our bow here. Getting a green bow on a fighter is so good. Get a longsword here too. Normally I would opt to switch for the longsword immediately, but I just throw my inventory this time and stick with the arming sword. Longsword is by far one of my favourite weapons alongside the spear. Has a really cool moveset, and obviously the lock and riposte is super nice. Have to run outside of the circle here because we aggroed the champion skeleton and we run into another one. It gets a quick hit on us. Just having to kite the AI. It's pretty easy to kite most AI in this game. Just run close enough to bait them to attack and then immediately back off. And as soon as they start their swing you can normally run around them. Sometimes you might take a hit or two if you're a bit slower. Or you get caught on them or caught on the terrain. And here we have our ranger who is planning on holding us at the door here. Managed to get a little shot on us whilst we're buffing up. And now we have to push him with a shield, which is pretty difficult. Just make sure we're serpentining. Keep blocking those arrows. Get nice and close. And then we can start having at them. Whenever you're rushing an archer as a fighter, guys, obviously they have the advantage of the distance. But if you're using a shield, whenever you see them notch those 3 arrows, just do exactly as I did there, crouch, point your shield up a little bit, and they're going to have a whole lot of trouble hitting you. And obviously keep moving side to side and serpentining too. Rangers will hate you if you start doing that. Now, if you don't have a shield, then you're just going to have to do the good old Daisy serpentine maneuver and keep spamming left and right. But the archers did have some nice loot on them. We pretty much get everything we can from this raid. Our inventory's almost full. We check and see if this guy has anything useful, but he doesn't, so. Always good if you're left alone at the end, just do a last inspection of loot. See if you can find any little trinkets or any oddities lying around. And then once you're done, just get out of there. But yeah, that was a pretty successful raid. We actually had some good fun PvP in this one. Managed to take out a few players. The ranger was definitely the most exciting and probably the best kill this raid. And after selling everything, we should get ourselves a pretty penny, because we did collect a full inventory of trinkets. I believe I did this run when I had almost a full stash of gold, as you can see there. I was trying to get to the max at 12,000, just a bit of a personal challenge during the playtest. So space was becoming a bit of a problem. think next time I'll probably buy candies and stuff just to make the spacing a bit better. Give me more space in my stash. But yeah, after selling everything and throwing it in those coin purses and listening to that beautiful sound of gold, I think we end up with just over 200 gold from that run. Yeah, just over 200, so it was really, really nice, and we got ourselves some good equipment too. So yeah, pretty successful run overall. Right, hope you enjoyed the video guys, that's all from me. Take it easy.